What's up, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with some more fantasy football content. Before I hop into it, please hit that like, subscribe, and comment button down below. Appreciate it. Helps out the channel a ton. Helps the videos get out there. So please support the content. But today I'm going to be telling you why Najee Harris should be the number one pick in your rookie dynasty drafts. Going to be going over his career, his production, his skill set, talking about the player pro comparison later in the video, talking about landing spots. We'll know who for sure should be the number one pick in your rookie draft after we know every player's landing spot. But let's dive into the video. So Najee Harris's production. In 2019, he had 209 carries for 1,224 rushing yards, averaging 5.9 yards of carry. He also had 27 receptions, good for 304 receiving yards, 11.3 yards per reception, and 20 total touchdowns. That was a very good season, but he eclipsed that season with his 2020 campaign, going for 251 carries, 1,466 yards, good for 5.8 yards per carry. Added 43 receptions, good for 425 receiving yards, 9.9 per reception, and 30 total touchdowns. Najee Harris is leading rusher and touchdown scorer from rushing touchdowns in Alabama history. Obviously, Alabama is a great school for running backs. They've had Derrick Henry, Shaun Alexander, Mark Ingram, a variety of other backs that come out of there in recent years alone. And he passed all of them. Absolutely dominated last year. Has the skill set, to be that big back. But yeah, if you look at the 27 receptions and 43 receptions, those are great numbers for a college running back to have that many receptions coming out of school, especially a big back like him. He's definitely NFL ready. Let's move on to his skill set. So, as I said, he's big enough to carry a heavy workload. He's a big back, 6'2", 230, 225 in that range. Big back can carry, 250 carries like we saw him at Alabama, probably more in the NFL potentially. If somebody drafts him in the first round or a high second round pick, he's probably going to get a ton of carries, and he's skilled as a pass catcher. Like I said, those 43 receptions, you don't see many players coming out of the league, especially the backs that are this large that can carry, that workload, that are also skilled pass catchers. This is a very rare skill set. And he had 962 yards after contact, third most in college football last year. That's a good stat to know. 69 forced missed tackles, second most in college football. That's a great stat. I think that shows just how elusive he is. I think he is a powerful runner, but he is more elusive, even though he's a big back. Went for 3.26 yards after contact per attempt, which is 89th in college football. I think comes up to one of the concerns of Najee Harris, meaning he's been played behind the Alabama offensive line his whole career. They won the Joe Moore Award last year for the most outstanding offensive line in the country. I think that's the worry. He goes to one of these NFL teams and gets behind and plays behind a poor offensive line, one that he's never played behind in college. We've never really seen him have to produce behind a bad offensive line. Is he a great runner still? That's, I think, what we have to find out about him when he takes that step to the next league. He's only 25 carries of 20-plus yards. That goes into his other kind of weakness, I guess you could say, meaning he's not a super explosive running back. He lacks that breakaway speed, but he can do everything else. He can catch passes. He can carry the workload. He can make people miss. And he's a large back who can, run you over. We saw that hurdle he had against Notre Dame that went viral. Excellent play. He had 22 broken tackles on 43 catches this year, which that's a great stat. You see him getting the ball in the passing game and not only getting it, but making people miss. I think he is going to be continued to use in the passing game a lot in the NFL, and that's what makes him such an exciting dynasty rookie pick. And he had just one drop in 2020 and one fumble loss his entire college career. That's good because he's going to be hanging on to the ball, not dropping it. That's how you get benched in the league. Doesn't look like he has anything to worry about as long as he keeps playing football the way he has been so far. Let's move on to his pro comparison. So I compared him to Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson was 6'3", another large back who used his size really every now and then, but wasn't the most physical runner ever. You really could use his side steps and make people miss. And as we saw from those advanced stats, that's what Najee Harris is so good at, is making people miss in open space. Najee Harris, I think, is going to be a great back. I expect him to get 250 plus carries this next year, close to that 50 reception range, depending on where he lands, maybe 40 to 50. But I don't think you catch 43 passes in 11, 12 games at Alabama and then get drafted with a high draft capital pick and aren't utilizing the passing game in the NFL. I think he will be utilized. I think he could potentially go to Atlanta, Buffalo, Miami, New York, Pittsburgh. I think all those are potential landing spots. I think Buffalo, Miami, I would categorize as huge wins, as well as if he lands in Atlanta. I think he's really going to be a great player for fantasy. If you want to go with that safe running back option who's going to get a ton of work, I do think Najee Harris is the guy if you're looking for a pick in this draft, or if you really need a running back, your team is just devoid of the running back position. He's probably going to be a stud for the next 4 to 5 years if he goes to the right team. And I expect somebody will invest a lot of draft capital in Najee Harris with the skill set and dominance that he put on in his last 2 years at Alabama and the tape that he's put on the field. If you made it to this point, please hit the like button on that video. It really helps out. I'll be bringing more of these videos. Check out the previous two, the case for Kyle Pitts, the case for Jamar Chase. Appreciate all the support and the content. Until next time, I'll see you guys.